me about the initiative that doesn't make California a country, but it says, hey, why can't we ask our government to look into this? Why is it a good idea to have our California government look into how possibly we could be more independent and push back on more freedom, a more federal regulation? Why is that a reasonable idea? Why now?
Yeah. Well, what Stevante said, the fears from this next administration, Biden-Harris administration, they're not going to reduce anything about the police shootings here in the state of California or the abuses of authority from the federal government and their waste of federal funding that comes from the state of California. So we don't want our money wastefully spent by this administration is to come. And if anything, we want to have economic independence. You know, we're the 5th largest economy in the world, but like he said, we have an extremely large homeless population. You know, we have a quality of life that's less than some of the states that we're funding, where our money is going a lot further in making their quality of life better. So if we want to improve the quality of life of the people here in the state of California, reduce the cost of living, put the money that they work so hard for back in their pocket, then we're going to have to say enough is enough and draw the line in the sand. I believe that's what CalExit does. And if more people knew about it and about the opportunity that it creates, as far as us creating general wealth for every person in the state of California. I think we all are striving for that. We want to be able to make sure that the money that we're working for actually is able to sustain us and sustain our children and our children's children if possible. And we shouldn't be prohibited from doing so. That's what our government does right now. That's what it's been allowed to do with our complacency, with us not demanding better. So again, with CalExit, it protects us as a state, as people of the state of California, to say we don't want any of what the federal government has to do, their regulations, their taxation. We don't want any of their control over what happens here with the state of California. And it also allows us to have more or place more accountability on our state representatives, you know, especially the governor, since whoever the governor may be would now be the now president of the state. So it's a opportunity for us to, again, make sure that our state representatives are upholding California values and what we, the people of the state, are actually demanding. And of course, create that dynamic where we're, again, protecting ourselves from anything Washington does from here on out. Whether it's Biden that stays or, you know, Biden that takes over the office or Trump staying in office.
You get my nerves.
Either one of them.
I've heard both of you talk about California being the 5th largest economy, and one of the things that always made me interested in CalExit was I was tired of seeing California politicians say, don't blame me, it's so complex, there's all these rules, there's all these regulations, I tried, vote for me again. And I thought, well, if there's no federal regulations, then people in Sacramento have no one to blame but themselves.
Exactly.
So there we are, as picking up from Stevante, able to hold them to a higher level of account, right? Because if I go, it's your fault, and they go, it's not me, it's this other dude 12,000 miles away and me, and it's like, no, he's gone.
Exactly.
Just you. I'm looking at just you, and you don't get to blame anybody. Would that provide a better level of accountability, in your opinion?
Absolutely, because that's someone more direct that you're able to say you're responsible for the actions that you've had in this. It's just like working for an employer. The employer isn't going to look at you and say, you know, you did this, or you're not going to pass on that responsibility to someone else. The employer is going to look at you and hold you responsible for whatever bad job that you do or a good job. So if you want to be rewarded, that's you being able to get reelected, especially for some of these senators like Kamala Harris, is you being rewarded with continuing to be a public representative. But for those that have term limits like mayors and governors, that's because you're held on a higher standard. And if you're going to be taking that position, that role in our society, in our community, then you should be definitely striving to be that representative that every other city representative is set as an example for.
Speak on it.
You know, we don't see that at all.
Not one bit.
We don't have any accountability by our other elected officials to hold themselves accountable.
That part.
And as long as we rely on them to, we're not going to see any changes at all.
Speak on it.
So you both, I think what I'm hearing is Sacramento politicians don't have anybody to blame but themselves.
Absolutely.
Suddenly, Sacramento politicians are going to be held at least to a significantly higher level of accountability.
Indeed.
Doesn't make everything perfect, but a lot harder for them to play games if they can't go, well, the federal government tied my hands, I can't fix anything.
Exactly.
Interesting.
And Sacramento politicians have failed. Let me tell you about Sacramento politicians. Starting with the Sacramento politicians. Let me get this right. Okay, so the state of politics here in Sacramento, you're seeing a lot of people leave office and a lot of new people come in because people are starting to notice the failures. So, for instance, Katie Venezuela is a lady who just won a seat here in District, I want to say 4. She beat Steve Hansen anyways. And Steve Hansen, career politician, chairman, I believe, of Sacramento Regional Transit, or public transportation system. Okay. And she's just an activist, just an organizer. Came in her first roundabout and beat him. Shauna Lowley, another guy from District 2. Alan Warren was the guy who he was facing, who was the now council member of District 2. Former MLB player, successful businessman, developer. This guy bought the land of a resource center and then built the building on top of the land that he bought for the resource center. That's the Sacramento Urban League. And Sean Lowley comes in here, ran a small business, and he just beat Alan Warren for his first time. These are people who have never served in not one seat ever. Mm-hmm. Don't know. To a person who studied Robert's rules or politics in general, or took in political science classes, you would say these people don't know jack shit about shit. Okay. And you would say anybody vote for them is stupid as hell. Because you're going to vote for somebody that don't know how to read, but who don't know how to do nothing that we expect for them to do. Okay. Because they haven't taken that curriculum.
Right.
You see?
Right.
But America is saying, no, we sick of that shit. Obviously, that curriculum ain't been working.
Right.
That's why we say we need curriculum reform and a promotion of intellectual independence. Mm-hmm. Because obviously, the way that you've been going, and we're going to reinvent this wheel, goddammit. Yeah. That's why I'm going to run for office.
You should.
Oh, I am.
You should.
And ain't nobody going, you're not going, you see, I'm going to fight for the people the way I want to fight for the people. Yeah. And I think politicians need to listen more to the people. Mm-hmm. Somehow we forgot about listening to the people. I don't know where the fuck that came from.
Yeah.
Like when did that start? That started after Jimmy Carter had to. Because Jimmy Carter listened to the people.
You're saying you've seen a lot of Californians running.
Yeah.
Previous experience.
Yeah.
I think Californians are willing to embrace those kind of politicians because they might bring real change and they have accountability.
Californians are embracing so many politicians who are not usual politicians because I feel like they can hold them accountable. They feel like they can go to Sean Lowley's store and be like, hey, dude, I don't like the way you're doing this over there. They feel like they can go to that organizer, Katie, and be like, hey, girl, I know you. Don't do that. You know, don't fuck up there. They feel like it's easier to hold them accountable than when they feel like you're so distant from these career politicians. You know what I mean? You don't know. People don't know. You see, when it comes to accountability, people are saying accountability is starting to become a talking point. Because people are saying accountability, but not telling you how to hold people accountable.
Right.
You know, and when you have no connection, you have no resources, it's hard to hold somebody accountable. You know, we always say it's not about what you know.
Who you know.
Right? Because who you know can get you out of jail.
do you agree that
and keep you from going?
these Sacramento politicians and people in the assembly, if they didn't have someone bigger to blame, that would be easier to hold them to accountable.
Well, Measure A failed. The strong mayor proposal.
Yeah. Because,
you know, Darrell Steinberg failed. That he put a proposal out. Measure U passed, and I'm a tax commissioner for Measure U. Okay. And that's why libertarians sometimes are like, how are you against taxes but a tax commissioner? I'm a civil libertarian. Okay. And, you know, so we got a job to do. But, you know, Measure U was supposed to generate funds, $95 million, towards inclusive economic development. Okay. And a lot of that's supposed to go to youth and resources. And when we seen the first batch of that Measure U fund, $10 million to be exact, go to police, and then police buy a new armored tank vehicle, it was just like a slap in the face, you know? So when the mayor came out with that Measure A proposal, the strong mayor proposal, which would give him power to override the city council and whatnot, we rejected that. How dare you not even live up to the first promise and then make another promise? Mm-hmm. Right. It's like scratch a lie, catch a thief. It's like, you know, you a piece of shit. We know it. Right. Okay, I didn't run for mayor because when I ran for mayor, the city of Sacramento treated me like dog shit. When I said I was running for mayor, how dare him? He crazy. He don't know shit. That's why a lot of people who really want to run for office don't run because the community puts them down. Yep. Drags their name, say you can't do it. You didn't do this. You didn't. Don't nobody know the community more than me because I live in it.
Yep. Yeah.
And you gonna tell me I'm not qualified?
Exactly.
That's a good point.
If anybody know your problems, dumbass, it's me. I know what it's like to be hungry. I know what it's like struggling to pay the bills. They haven't felt that pain since motherfucking 20 years ago. And they really didn't feel it because they're living off mommy and daddy. Checkmate, bitch. You know what I mean?
Or taxpayers.
Or taxpayers. Or you know what? A lot of people don't talk about it. Or they were hiding behind their nonprofits. Mm-hmm. A lot of people hide behind, you know, a lot of people out there are poverty pimps. Yep. They use these nonprofits to get money from people, and then they spend that money on their lavish, luxurious lifestyles. And a lot of these people, you do research. A lot of these big nonprofits have failed the people too. Do your research on the Clinton Foundation. And yet, that's not top news. No. We are distracted by bullshit. Mm-hmm. And then what I've noticed is if you work with shit, you're going to smell like shit. Okay? We got to quit biting. As a country, we got to start saying, you know what? That's not news. Right. You know what?
Sure.
This, you won't divide us. You know what? Right? But it's never too late to wake up. I don't think it's ever too late to wake up. Honestly, I don't. I think we got to have hope.
I understand that you have hope and you have a big heart and you've been through a lot. And the way through healing is through being positive.
Yes, sir.
I wonder sometimes if, with respect, you're putting on rose-colored glasses when occasionally talking about real issues, because I see you say one thing and it's kind of like you're walking around, and then when it gets you in the camera, you're like, well, I want us all to come together. And that's beautiful and that's awesome. But I also think you have a second opinion.
Yeah.
That's perhaps not as constructive, but is honest. And I'm trying to see if I can coax you into sharing that too.
I don't think you coach me in anything.
Coax.
Oh, coax. Okay, sorry.
Lure.
Yeah. My personal views when it comes to, you know how I feel about these people. No. I know. All right. Well, okay.
I talk to him and then go.
Okay. Well, let me. Okay. I'll tell them on camera since you want on camera so bad. These people ain't shit. That's what you want to hear. These people ain't shit. No. Let's be honest. These people ain't shit. Everybody failed. You know, I you know, I'm everybody love everybody. He know who I am.
Yeah, heart of hearts, but
these people ain't shit. And
they're not going to fix everything and pull us all back together perfectly.
The solution, you know, the true solution. Let me tell you. Look. We need our own political parties. Not only that, like we need our own system of organized structures that can take out the oppressor. And we need to create our own uniforms. And I'm not just talking about clothing. You know, we need our own code of conduct. We need to start from the basics, because right now we got life as a nation, we got life and bullshit fucked up. We as a people. These people, if you'd be crazy to put your faith. Y'all want to know the truth? You'll be crazy to put your faith in any of these politicians. You'll be crazy as hell to trust any of them. You'll be stupid as hell, which means you know better, to trust any of these people. They don't give a damn about you. They live in a different tax bracket. They don't, you think they...
No, I like the passion.
No. It's got to be directed.
Yes.
And I love you. It's just you people will be crazy to believe any of these talking points that they are selling you. They are selling you talking points that they have practiced and rehearsed. It's more scripted than WWE. Well, do your research.
They hate each other.
The reason you mad at Trump is Trump exposed them.
Yeah. They don't like being exposed.
Yeah, Trump a piece of shit. Yeah, you. But you perfect. Hold on, right? Since everybody want to play holy and everybody want to cast moral condemnation on the orange guy, you know what? Let's talk about Joe Biden. Let's talk about the failures of Joe Biden, crooked ass, huh? Let's talk about Joe and his failures. How he played a huge role in the development of mass incarceration on black people in the United States of America. Huh? You want to talk about that, huh? You want to play holy.
Right.
But let's not play holy when it comes to moral condemnation. You have no right. These people, let me say it slow. Let me put it in a subtitle.
You're there. You're there. Focus.
The politicians in America have lost their way. They have lost their way when it comes to connecting with the American people. They do not represent our fights, our rights, and our causes. Right. And it is time for us to come together when it comes to intellectual independence, community sustainability, and inclusive economic development. In those three areas, let's start there, damn it. I don't have all the answers. That's why I said I receive recommendations. If you want to help, go to www.imsacfoundation.com. Period. If not, you shut the fuck up and stay your ass in the nosebleeds. You shut the fuck up and get your ass in the nosebleeds. Enjoy the show. Kick your feet up while you at it. Right. And don't watch me watch TV. And if I'm on TV, turn the TV off or change the channel. Because what you eat don't make me shit. Let me tell you something. Everybody want to talk about like they know. There's no morals in politics. That's why they call him Tricky Dick. Huh?
True.
Teddy Roosevelt said, speak softly and carry a big stick. Huh? The president talked too much. He don't know how to speak softly. Right? Huh? People forget about Eleanor. Huh? Because you're stuck with Melania's now. Huh? What has happened is, and I see it all the time, and I see it every day, and American people see it every day, and I know we're sick of it. What has happened is, and what is continuously to happen is atrocities across the country where African Americans who are unarmed are being killed by law enforcement, and nobody's addressing the situation. Nobody's trying to bridge the gap when it comes to community policing, getting officers engaged with the communities that they're sworn to protect and serve, so the community can feel like that the police protect people, not property. Kamala's not doing that. Joe Biden is not fighting for community sustainability. Trump is not fighting for bringing potlucks and block parties back to your communities. I am. www.iamsacfoundation.com. And I'll tell you something else right now about these damn elected officials. When you have these rallies fighting for a person who don't give a damn about you, remember, elephants don't swap flies. Giraffes don't respond at the levels of turtles. And you cannot turn chickens into eagles. And if you try doing any of those three, you would spend your life running around like the Hebrews did after they left Pharaoh in Egypt. And your entire generation will die before they ever see the promised land. Hello, checkmate, bitch. Sorry.
Let's pause right there. That's
right.
very hot.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No,
you know.
We're gonna go right to Wildstar, Governor Wildstar.
What's that?
Harris.
I thought
Thoughts?
I already answered that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
They're all pieces of shit, and we gotta hold them all accountable. I'll tell you about Stephan Clark was unjustly taken. He was shot at 20 times in my grandmother's backyard in a matter of 22.3 seconds. He was shot, each out of those 20 shots, 8 shots hit him. Each 8 of those 8 shots possessed a fatal capacity, which means each shot independently killed him. Lacerating his heart, fracturing his spine, breaking his rib, 1 shot in the neck. Stephan died in a matter of 22 seconds. He bled out in a matter of 3 to 5 minutes. EMTs didn't arrive till 10 minutes later. The officers on duty muted their body cameras. The officers on duty ignored the foot pursuit policy implemented by Chief Hahn in the Sacramento Police Department. The officers who murdered my brother in my grandmother's backyard, who mistakenly accused him of having a gun, but it happened to be a cell phone. After they had said he had a gun, they said a toolbar or crowbar. They lied on him numerous times. Those same officers still work the streets of Sacramento today. The same officers who killed my unarmed brother in my grandmother's backyard still patrol other grandmothers' backyards in the streets of Sacramento today. We have failed. We have failed. As a people, we have failed. And Stephan Clark should be alive today. And to make sure the life and legacy of Stephan Clark lives in a positive light for generations after you and I have left this earth, we're willing to bridge the gap between law enforcement and at-risk communities to prevent, like what happened to my brother, from ever happening again. We're willing to talk to police about evidence policing. If you don't know what evidence policing is, that's where you police based on research. So you know what the fuck you doing before you just run in motherfuckers' backyards. Excuse my French. Pardon my French.
Go on.
But that's why we want to bridge the gap between law enforcement and at-risk communities. That's why I talk about community policing. That's why we talk about community sustainability and high quality of life. That's why we talk about inform and educate on policy and legislative change. AB 392, Stephan Clark Law, which hasn't been updated since 1872. That's 8 years after the Emancipation and Proclamation. Stephan Clark Law, the first law ever changed after somebody who's been affected by police brutality. Stephan Clark Law, which updates the use of force from reasonable to necessary. Stephan Clark Law, which is a start. But let me tell you something, slow progress is better than no progress. And this is a step. This will not stop it from happening. But there are officers sitting down in jail right now in San Diego facing 15 to 20 years in prison because of Stephan Clark Law. You don't believe me? Google it, because that's all you people ever do anyway. And also, another way we believe in informing and educate on policy and legislative change is our Era of the Vote campaign, where we educate, register, and assist people on how to vote. We don't want to tell you who to vote for. We just want to tell you how to vote. This is how to vote, you know. Well, also, what we do here is bigger than what anybody do. What we do here within Stephan Clark's legacy. And, you know, legislative change is big, but what we do bigger, I believe, is providing people with resources and healing spaces. We believe, give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. You teach a man to fish, he'll eat for a lifetime. That's one of the biggest things we do. We teach people how to fish. Something that everybody want to talk about, actionable items. These are the actionable items. Getting our people 5 or 6 different streams of income. Teaching them carpentry, teaching them welding, teaching them bricklaying, teaching them concrete, teaching them how to use their hands to fish and make money for their families so they can go in business for themselves and not have to be a corporate slave for generations. I can go on and on. Don't get me started. Don't get me started.
Governor Wildstar
with it.
Yeah, I can go on and on. Hey, you know, you don't get me started.
No, I hear you. I hear you. We definitely want an answer that looks at all perspectives. But to zero in on, I'm going to kick it to you, Governor Wildstar, and then we'll come back. What happened with AB 392? What happened?
They took the teeth out of it.
Yeah.
They took the teeth out of it.
And then 2019.
But we said slow progress is no progress. You're good. You're good.
I know, but the
He's
people
good.
watching
He's
this
good.
don't
No, he's
know
good.
what happened.
They took the teeth out of it.
What does that mean specifically?
They made
Define reasonable. And define necessary. Hold
They made it less
on. Yes. Because if you go to court and you say, I feared for my life, right? Let's say that. Let's say that. Oh, my mama.
You're a
Let's say,
yeah,
my mama. We police officers. We think you come at us. We shoot your bitch ass. I mean, not sorry.
Right.
Hypothetically speaking,
You got my
you coming at us.
hypothetical bitch ass.
Yeah,
Shot.
your bitch ass get shot now. We think, oh shit, Wildstar,
Right.
pow, we kill you. Now we take our little the IA, internal affairs. You know, that's like the internal affairs sit us down 2 days later because they don't wait till the day. You know, you don't get interviewed the day of when you're a cop. They interview my brother's killers days after, so we had time to get our story together.
Right.
Okay. Oh well, I think I seen this bitch ass nigga coming up with a gun, Wildstar, and I was scared for my life. I feared for my life. But what if he had in his phone? I don't know, look like a gun. Then let's say you just had a pair of keys.
Okay.
Well, the reflection from his keys hit my eyes. You remember the reflection from the keys hit your eyes?
Absolutely.
And then it looked like a light. It looked like a gun like we was shot at, right? Then I was scared. Wasn't you scared? This nigga tried to kill us.
Yeah.
Now listen. No, right? It sounds weird.
That's what cops can say to get off.
Because you can't define what's reasonable and necessary when I feared for my life, can you?
Right.
I just told you I feared for my life, right?
Right.
Now what's reasonable to that? I'll wait. I got time.
And you were saying AB 392 was
took out the teeth because now you're in court and you have to not only fight that, you have to define that, you have to argue that. You have to argue reasonable and necessary to a person who just told you they ain't afraid for their life.
Right.
I just told you I feared for my life because the reflection of those keys look like a gun to me now. Now, if I'm lying, I'm dying and I ain't dead yet. God strike
criminal investigators corroborate with the story.
Yeah. And I'm IA. I'm not finna double down on that. I'm not finna say, well, explain how the fuck the keys look like a reflection.
Right.
And you're saying the original text of AB 392 would
Took
have
out
changed it. So
It
police officer
made it
would now
more
have to
strict.
prove
It would have made it more strict. It would have made it more
To
strict.
me, it's more about accountability because
It is.
the Democratic legislators that we've allowed to create this law, as well as our Democratic governor, Gavin Newsom, signing it into law, pretty much went along with the unions and the police unions that wanted to water down the
Black
bill.
Lives Matter put out their support.
Exactly. As well as I believe your family.
ACLU.
Yes.
No. We kept our support in it. The reason we kept our support is because, like I said, slow progress is better than no progress. So we believe that getting this done in the legacy of Stephan Clark law, is bigger on his legacy than anything. You know, the law, Emmett Till doesn't have this. Eric Garner, Tim Ray, they all deserve their own laws based on how unjustly they were killed and murdered. Yes, Stephan Clark is the first. We cannot take the importance piece out of Stephan Clark law. Stephan Clark law is a start, you see. And I believe when we're fighting this system, you know, they don't even want to give us crumbs sometimes, it feels like.
No.
Sure. But would it be good to have the original text?
It would be fucking great. Okay. It would be past amazing. But if I told you that, I would feel like I'm asking for too much.
Hey, but you're
Because
not.
I know I'm not. I know I'm not. But these people are bought out by police unions.
Right.
Police unions have money.
Right.
ACLU ain't giving them motherfuckers no money. I ain't giving them no money. Clark family ain't paying shit to nobody to get. I'm not paying no lobbyists. Police unions have a lot of money. District Attorney Anne-Marie Schubert, the lady who Carol Baskins, she received over $250,000 from police unions throughout her entire tenure of being DA. Not only that, did she receive all that money? She has never prosecuted any officer of a police killing of an individual ever in her tenure.
And the original text, you feel, would have changed things substantially. Not made them perfect. The original text would have helped. There were 3 major things I think it did. One was it removed the officer.
We, the black delegation, say yes. The original, the original proposal of AB 392
perfect.
would have probably prevented a lot more deaths. But we took SB 230. See, we compromised. We said, give us SB 230, which did I had the police training. Remember that? The police training, SB 230.
Right.
And then when we compromised, when we said, okay, give us better, because the police said training.
Sure.
Okay. So we said, we'll take that. We'll take this.
Right.
So once we compromised with the SB 230, the conversation changed, brother. That whole conversation that we were talking about, the original, that all changed. All that changed. And people don't understand, when I got into politics, it broke my heart, honestly, because I was like, my brother just died. And y'all sitting here, I couldn't believe it. Like, I could not believe it that you wouldn't just pass this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But once I realized how powerful police unions were, and how I don't have that type of money or power or backup or your power, there's a power and strength in numbers.
Oh yeah.
When I see these law enforcement officials, they're organized. They have a uniform. They have a code of conduct. They have a structure. They have an institution. And my brother just died, and this institution is fighting against the legacy of my brother, full-fledged. And the people that are with me are saying, like, we got to compromise. And I'm sitting there like, for what? What the fuck is the training going to do? How you going to... It's common sense, goddammit. You should know a difference between a gun and a cell phone. Ain't no training in the world can help that. And they looking at me like I'm crazy. They're like, no, you don't get it. No, they looking at, he just don't get it.
Yeah.
He just, this boy crazy. He's grieving. That's what they threw at me.
I saw that.
He's
I
grieving.
saw
This boy don't know
yeah.
shit.
I saw the documented interview.
And
I saw that. Yeah.
And I took it and I said, you know what? Y'all wrong. You guys are wrong. I felt it. When you feel something, when you feel like, but you like, you know what? I'm just gonna take it. Because what I noticed, and me and Wildstar had this conversation, and it's kind of like how I decided to become a libertarian, and I seen the Democrats fuck over us for generations. And I said, oh my goodness, these Dixiecrats, how they started the Ku Klux Klan. These fucking Dixiecrats. How they want to say the party switched. Jim Crow laws, the Dixiecrats. These Democrats are responsible for the rising rents. The Democrats are responsible for the wealth gap. The Democrats are responsible for a lot of shit that they don't take no accountability for or they don't own up to at all. And we just sit there and we kiss their ass behind social equity and change and justice and peace and all that bullshit. Those are talking points, damn it. Right. And I watch how the Dixiecrats painted the Republicans as a dirty word. Well, this is the California Republic for a reason, right? Mm-hmm. Huh? Ain't this the California Republic?
Yes,
the Republic
sir.
of California? Am I?
You're
okay,
right.
Martin Luther King was a Republican, right?
True.
James Brown said loud, I'm black and I'm proud. He did vote for Nixon and believed in capitalism, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, let's be honest.
That's true.
Malcolm X, Harriet Tubman, Obama's favorite president. Your favorite president was a what? I love you. You know what I mean? But they were. They all had that mindset. God, family, country. Right? Simple.
Yeah.
Simple.
Yeah.
It's fucking simple. It's not hard to figure out. It's God, family, which means you better look like me.
Right.
Country, America. Now, that is, if we're talking about the Bible, the Constitution, and my family, that is, if we're talking about conservatism, right? The Bible Belt, the Rest Belt. We're talking about hardworking Americans. We're talking about people who care about God, their family, food on their table, and their country, right? Now let's talk about people who say, well, see, that's the spirit moving.
Well, let me ask.
You see when the spirit move? You see when the spirit is moving? That means I gotta shut the fuck up. Look.
Let me just,
Look, the spirit is moving. Somebody said, man, you gotta run the president,
well,
bro.
we're starting to talk about the Democrats, and then the phone knocked out, and I was like, oh,
Right.
Is that a sign?
Let me stop. I can't talk about the Democrats now.
Well, but isn't this what happened? You have a Democratic-controlled legislature. In 2018, they had the opportunity to pass AB 392 as it was originally written. They said, oh, we ran out, couldn't do it. Then you go to 2019, and they have the law, and then right before they pass it, they pull out the major provisions that said that officers have to show that their life was being threatened. They had to show that they made an attempt for a peaceful resolution. And they had to show that there was no alternative but to take a life, and if they couldn't do that, it's automatic homicide charges. The Democratic Party in California ripped all that out and then said, this is a great day for justice, and the governor signed it, and all of the top African-American Democrats backed that up, even knowing that BLM and Dr. Kalors pulled out their support of it. Can't we call that a trick, or is that fair play?
It was a dirty trick. I think they did it on purpose, though. Oh, no. Yeah, my bad. It was more of the same old virtue signaling that the Democratic Party does to pretty much keep us complacent as a voting bloc, to make it seem like that they're helping. So it was another dirty trick. And it's unfortunate that we fell for it enough to think that it's going to prevent black people from getting shot and killed by police officers. You know, we'd be naive to think otherwise.
Big on it.
But it also gives us the groundwork to, like he said, hold them accountable. But it's up to us to do that. We can't be reliant upon these politicians to do it, obviously. Or these prosecutors, whether it's the attorney general or the district attorney or whatever the case may be, you know, because if they're afraid of biting the hand that feeds them and make sure that they have the funding that they need to stay in office, to stay in power, to feed that egocentric, narcissistic part of them, then we won't see any changes.
That part.
We have to be the ones to say, hey, we demanded this from you, and you should have never started blacking out lines of this law. You should have passed it in its totality.
Did your job.
And we're going to say that either you do this or we're going to kick you out of that position.
Go.
And with regards to making a stand and coupling it with the push to secede,
because we got to,
is because let's say if you have one of these fatal shootings happen again, and it becomes a matter of national tragedy.
Which it will.
Right.
You see the spirit moving?
I saw that.
You see the spirit moving?
What is the Department of Justice going to do?
Nothing.
Are they going to hold
No.
the law enforcement personnel here in the state accountable? No, exactly.
Speak on it.
So we got to put our foot down. And to me, like, what's happened with the killing of George Floyd? It was that nail in the
8
coffin.
minutes, 46 seconds.
Yeah. It was that final straw. And that's what Stephon.
His last words was calling out for his mama. Yeah. They put that, they imagine, you know, sometimes I kneel and I pray before I go to bed. I say my prayers every night until my mouth fall off. I pray long and hard. Sometimes my knees burn. Now imagine a man's neck being your cushion as you take your prayers. Because as you pray every night, you got to pray for everybody. You got to pray for mama, daddy, the cousins, the enemies, everybody. That takes forever. Now imagine that whole 9-minute prayer. A man's neck is your cushion. And as that man's neck is your cushion is calling out for mama, mother. Now, I'm a man, just like you, Wildstar. And to call out for my mama, who died years ago.
Right. His mother had already was dead. Yeah. So it's still going on.
The nation saw it. That's why, when people got upset that George Floyd's family raised $14 million off GoFundMe and all that, I said, who gives a fuck? The nation got upset with what they saw. And as the America, we don't know how to cope with shit. So what do? We put it on our pocketbooks, right? We say, it's like when Danny used to be gone for years. He come back on Christmas. What do he do? Buy all the Christmas presents, bring out his pocketbook, right?
You can't throw money.
You can't throw. Woo!
Yeah.
You can't throw money.
You cannot throw money at problems.
Yeah. You need real reform.
You need real reform. And you need actionable items in a way where they're going to address the community sustainability.
Exactly.
And when you say you're going to improve the quality of life, how? How? Tell me how you're going to improve the quality of life. How are you going to give us more resources? How are you going to bridge the gap? How are you going to inform and educate us in a way where we're thinking for ourselves and fishing for ourselves? We don't need government. We can't sustain for government. And we're able to take our family from one class to another class in less than 20 years.
Yeah.
The wealth gap between African Americans and Caucasians, do you know how wide it is?
Exactly.
Oh my God. We making like $17,000 a year, while the average white American makes like $117,000 a year.
Yeah.
That is unconscionable. That's that word right, unconscionable.
Yeah.
Conscionable.
It is. It is.
God damn it, I ain't T.I. I don't know them words. But I know we've been fucked over. I know our people been fucked over for generations. And you can only fuck over people for so long. To where they say enough is enough. And we are sick and tired of being sick and tired. That's why I have so much community support. Because the people they're not supporters, they're loyalists. They're loyal to the fact that they're fed up with this bullshit, and they're loyal to the fact they're going to keep their voice being heard, because if they don't be heard, then nobody will hear them. They'll be ignored. We forgive, we don't forget. The reason we don't forget is because we remember the shit that happened so it don't happen again.
Right. Okay.
They got us fucked up.
So I would say that it would be fair to hold politicians accountable. And perhaps while much progress has been made, and that's awesome, we get the original text of 392 and it's a giant step forward. Doesn't make it perfect, but would be
exactly
chance at real change.
Right. Make it more impactful. And as I said, we still have to make sure that we're holding them accountable, and that's when having better leadership in place comes into play. And
yeah, people don't understand. People just don't get it. Wildstar, that the killers who killed my brother in my grandmother's backyard are literally working the streets today.
Right.
I don't think people understand that. That's like me going to your grandmother's backyard, killing your brother.
Right.
In your grandmother's backyard.
Right.
And saying, I thought your brother had a gun.
Yeah.
And then come to find out your brother just had a cell phone. And then me taking a paid vacation after I just killed your brother in your grandmama's backyard. I just killed your brother in your grandma's backyard. I just took a paid vacation. And when I get off my vacation, guess where I'm going?
Back to the job.
Ooh.
right.
And I have to watch you walk around.
You have to watch it. You have to watch me. You have to watch me go to jail, go to a mental institution, get ostracized, kicked out the church, be talked about, laughed at, the talk of town. Sacramento is only a city of 500,000. 5,000 of that 500,000 are homeless. But that's only the ones that they've counted.
Mm-hmm. And you have to watch this man live freely knowing that he committed a crime.
Multiple men.
Yeah.
Imagine the ones they don't talk about, the ones who don't make the headlines.
Right.
Imagine how many stories haven't been told. A man today at this Trump rally, he told me today, he said, do you know that police die more at the hands of people than police kill people? I said, boy, shut up. You sound stupid. I said, shut up. You sound stupid. He said, don't call me. I said, you are stupid because you know better for saying that stupid shit. Or you just a dumbass. Which one are you? He said, no. I said, Z, look it up. Show him. Go to www.antipoliceterrorproject.com.
One more time?
www.antipoliceterrorproject.com. Yeah,
Anti-police terror project.
Yeah, because we're not anti-police. We're anti-police terrorism. We're anti-police brutality. We're anti-police militarization. We're anti-police corruption. Shit, let's get that shit straight. Right. I love you know, we're not anti. We love our law enforcement. It's a hard job to protect and serve. But when you say you protect and serve, you must protect and serve people, not property. And we believe that you swore under oath under God that you'll protect and serve the people, and you should live up to that.
Okay. That was good. What happened to you today at the Trump?
Oh.
If you're willing to talk about it, I have a couple more questions.
Yeah,
I don't want to do it all on that. I know about, throwing in on the drama.
Yeah, the drama. The Trump rally drama.
We both went to a Trump rally.
Yes, we did.
Many people were cordial and easy to get along with.
Very much for the most part.
Yeah. And two of you said, hey, we're libertarian principles.
Yes, we did.
And a lot of people were cool with that. But there were some Trump supporters who were, that wasn't good enough, I think was the expression. Right? Yeah. Whatever you're willing to share, what was your experience today that the two of you had with some, not all?
Before I start on that, that's a great question. Before I start on that, I want to say our libertarian values do not represent the fight for I Am SAC Foundation or the views.
Yeah. Do all your disclaimers. Get them all done.
Yeah. You know, our fight on the front line when it comes to political action does not represent our foundations in any way, shape, or form. What I do as a libertarian is what I do on my own time, my own leisure. I am a libertarian before anything. Besides the Stephan Clark, besides my Christian values, besides my family and love and all that, I'm a libertarian. I believe more freedom, less government. I believe in accountability, and that's my disclaimer. Everybody love everybody, and then okay.
Disclaimed. What happened in your words? What did you see? Where you were in the middle of a crowd, I think. We were on the opposite side of the crowd, and we saw like 60 CHP officers in urban street gear walk off in a military column. And I think it was where you two were at. What happened? What was the reaction that you had from, again, not all Trump supporters, only some?
Exactly. Well, we just went over to this area where the police were lined up. It was off of one of the streets near the Capitol. And we just saw a lot of commotion and was wondering, of course, what's the buzz all about? But mainly because of the police presence. They positioned themselves between what I guess were Black Lives Matter, Antifa protesters or whatever, counter protesters to the Trump supporters that were there as well. So the police were positioned to face both groups and kind of had an area between them. We didn't realize this, so we just started walking, and one officer got in Stevante's face and pretty much was using foul language and being disrespectful and speaking in ways that you wouldn't hope that a officer in uniform would speak to a tax-paying, member of society. So, yeah, and Stevante has some choice words with the man. And another police officer stepped in, and I was explaining to him, and there were some guys behind us that were Trump supporters, and he stepped in, I guess, to correct our language towards the police officer or whatever the case. Because one of them, the lady cops, stepped up. She knew who he was, and she was like, Stevante, calm down or whatever. And they actually switched places with the cop or whatever. And, yeah, pretty much this guy didn't like what he was saying to the police officer and said, you need to respect him, and, was trying to, again, correct his language and behavior. And this is a grown man that you're speaking to. So, of course, he's going to defend himself. And he was letting him know, hey, I'm not going to allow this cop who's a public servant to speak to me that way. And I echoed that by saying, we're all taxpayers. We pay their salaries to behave a certain way, and they shouldn't be disrespectful to us no matter what, And you guys are on the wrong side. I'm like, well, I thought this was the side of freedom and liberty and justice for all, Yeah, well, you guys are racist. They were looking for something to make us feel like we didn't belong. And I said, well, actually, we're here with the Recall Newsom team. Well, I support that. I'm like, okay, so that's actually why we're here on this side.
Not me, though. That's why he was there.
That's why I was there. So,
that was a Trump supporter? Or the officer?
It was a Trump supporter. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And these were two younger guys. And
stupid airheads.
Yeah, you could just tell they were just pent up on testosterone.
All their people came and apologized to us.
We're
sorry,
whatever
Mr.
the
Clark.
case may be. The anger that's being perpetuated by this mainstream media machine, and this right-left duopoly that's divided us as a nation.
Yeah, so he came cussing us out.
Yeah, he came cussing us out. Told him, hey, we're on the same side. Calm down. Did my best to kind of, reduce his tension. Yeah. And the older guy came over, and I was speaking with him, and I was having actually a better conversation with him.
The other cop. Remember the other cop came?
Yeah. And actually another police officer came, because once they kind of saw us, bless you, having this exchange with these gentlemen, they came up with bicycles and created a separating barrier between us and them. And one of the police officers, he was really friendly, He was giving us hugs and, showing them that, hey, these are actually cool guys.
He walked up and gave me a hug, literally.
Yeah. So, and then the guy was confused because one moment he sees us, chewing out a cop's ass and shit for acting a fool, and then this cop is being friendly to us and, pretty much making us, letting it be known that we were welcome and we were in good company, and he's like, man, this is good energy, you want to get rid of the bad energy. And this is a cop actually saying this.
Yeah, that was I think the CHP Capitol Guard.
Yeah.
No, it's SAC PD.
SAC PD, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I know the cop. It was one of my partners. That's why when he came up, he gave me a hug, and I was like, hey, my guy. Man, look. Friend, something happened.
Yeah, and if we can build that rapport, that relationship with, again, people that we feel like we pay to protect us as people of the community, it could be much better than what it is now. But they're demanding that we be submissive and respecting authority when respect is earned. It's not given.
Speak on it.
And if these are people that we employ, they need to prove to us why they are worthy of that respect. He definitely proved it today. The majority of the officers out there proved it today because they were able to keep their cool and keep the cool between both parties, and everybody went home happy. You know, you had a few skirmishes here and there, but for the most part, they all did their job with respect to their badge and their oath of office, you know, which is to protect and serve the people of this community.
That part.
So we have more great examples in law enforcement. It's sad when you have those bad apples get exploited by the media. But what is the media machine? It's a tool of propaganda to have us sensationalize a story. We don't like hearing about puppies and, you know, babies and happy stuff. We gravitate societally towards controversy and scandal and hate. You know, hate.
If it bleeds, it leads.
Exactly. If it bleeds, it leads. And if our press machine is continuing to play on that part of who we are as a society, then it's really just a reflection of who we are and that energy that we're putting out there. And I had to tell the guy, I said, look, wouldn't it be great if the Black Lives Matter people came over here and actually sat down and talked to you guys?
I'm not no Black Lives Matter people, though.
I'm just saying, the ones that were on that side, you know.
Let's get that out there.
Not where you are right now.
Yeah.
But we're out in the protests. And after the conversation that we had, he was like, man, I could kiss you. Because I gave him my card. I'm a candidate running for California governor, you know, and I'm running as a Republican. Oh, wow. Now you want to bridge the gap. And it shouldn't come down to labels and a identifier of Republican or Democrat or conservative or liberal, whatever the case may be. Because at the end of the day, what matters most is what can we do for each other to unite each other.
They don't want to hear that shit.
Get rid of the problems that keep us separated. Keep us from working together.
Let me tell you what happened. Can I tell you my rendition?
Yes. And then I got two more questions after that.
This is probably more explicit.
Okay, so
I'd like to know exactly what they said if you're willing to say.
Yeah. So look. So this is what happened. This is what happened. Let me make sure we guys both on here. This is what happened. So we went to this goddamn rally. Goddamn trying to, you know, get people informed and educated on the Libertarian Party, the third largest political party in the United States of America.
Yeah.
Okay? More freedom, less government.
Flyers in hand.
No, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So you go there.
So we go out there and we are ready to bridge the gap, inform and educate, provide resources in Hill Space, commemorate life and legacy, receive recommendations from the people how to prevent, how to grow, spread the gospel of love. We're there on a mission.
Yeah.
And the mission is to achieve the vision is get as many people on the right side of love as possible. That was the agenda that we went out there. Oh, my phone died. I got the charger, but we went out there and it was a clusterfuck.
Go on. What do you mean by that?
It was a clusterfuck of a situation. When what I'm saying by that is, I'm saying that if you could close your eyes and visualize passion without direction, you would see what I saw.
Right.
So everybody watching home, everybody watching this feed, if you close your eyes for 5 seconds and just visualize passion without direction, and look and just imagine how chaotic that looks. That's what we saw out there today. It was despicable. Lack of integrity.
Mm-hmm.
Integrity means doing what's right when nobody else is watching. People were being stupid out there. And I'm not disrespecting anyone. Stupid means you know better, but you do it anyway. Dumb means you don't know at all. That's why they have books called Public Speaking for Dummies. Mm-hmm. How to Ride a Bike for Dummies. Because they're dumb. You don't know at all. You're dumb. But a lot of people are being stupid because they know better. They know better than yelling and pepper spraying and bringing bear mace and threatening and terroristic threats resulting in death. And they know as adults, what is the message you're sending to our children?
Right.
What is the message you are sending to your children? That is okay? That is okay. That is how you get things done. That is how you bridge the gap. That is how you get community sustainability. That is how you improve the quality of life. That's how you talk about intellectual independence. That's how we get curriculum reform done. That's how we talk about bridging the gap between our law enforcement, our at-risk communities, so we can have those conversations on community policing. We aren't doing that because we're so busy yelling at each other.
Right. That's what you saw today with the Trump supporters.
It would not just the Trump supporters. We will not just say the Trump supporters. Because there were flyers out there telling people to come out there and counter protest those supporters.
You saw it on both
so I seen it on websites. Mm-hmm. I seen flyers say, come out here in November, so-and-so, it'll be a counter protest, da-da-da. And I said, that is so divisive. I said, that's like me throwing a rally, a Stephan Clark rally, and people make a flyer and say, we're going to do this. But if you don't stand with what I stand for, if you don't believe in what I believe in, there's a way of communicating that with me.
Sure.
You have the freedom of speech. This is America. You can do whatever you want to do. I believe that as well. But I believe once you start bringing in violence, you've crossed the line. I believe once you start assassinating a man's character, disrespecting a man in his face and trying to bring that person down, I believe you've created a fight. Even if the fight wasn't there, you just started a fight because you engaged in that divisive rhetoric. We have to learn how to come together. Everybody love everybody. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. John 15:12 in the Bible, since everybody's a Christian now. John 15:12 says, love each other as I've loved you. And if you skip down to John 15:18, the Bible says, if the world hates you for it, know that they hated me long before they ever hated you. So everybody love everybody, and if they hated God, then I know they're going to hate me. If they talk about Jesus, I know they're going to talk about me. We have to come together. What I seen today at the Capitol was not us coming together. I think the Trump supporters shouldn't have gave those people any attention if they came to counter-protest.
Right.
I think the best way to deal with counter-protesters is to ignore them.
Exactly.
Stick to the agenda. Because the mission is to achieve the vision. And once we lose focus on the vision, it's easy to get steered off the mission. You see what I'm saying? We're looking for lifetime achievement goals.
Well, do you think that's possible? Clearly people...
Yes.
You think you're saying things are very divisive, but you think people can come back together?
Yep. You need true leadership.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have true leadership. Yes, if you're a true leader, you get killed, assassinated, ostracized. You get, our true leadership is bought out. True leadership is corrupted. We don't have true leadership anymore. We lack leadership in this country.
Let me be specific, though. Then.
Obama failed.
I was going to go more current.
Yep, Obama got Trump elected.
Right.
And so...
I'm going to let Wildstar take it from there, because I'm going to get a lot of hate for that.
Before you go, one last question before you go. I do want to ask about AB 390.
Yeah.
Hold on. Are you saying then, though,
hold on.
Biden and Harris aren't going to be able to provide the leadership you speak of?
I want to let Wildstar answer that first. I want to go to the charger for the phone.
Okay.
But I want you to answer that. I want you to take that.
Isn't that a charger right there?
Yeah, no. Where?
Right there. Oh, different
that's
phone.
mine. That's
I got mine. It's a 10-foot charger. Thank you, brother.
No, they aren't going to be able to.
That's an easy answer.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's just a simple. Nope.
No, they aren't. Okay.
You want to talk Make America Great Again? Okay, whatever. But America is one of the most corrupt nations that ever existed in the earth. America wiped out millions of Native Americans. America dropped a bomb on Hiroshima. Two bombs, not whatever. Thank you. America sent out AIDS and diseases to Cuba and goddamn Dominican Republic and so on and so forth. America put people in slavery. Just 40, 50 years ago, America gave black folks the right to vote. America is the only country that started a womanhood movement but left black women out. How you start a woman's rights movement but leave sisters out? America is one of the most corrupt regimes that have ever existed on the planet Earth. You know, but America is the new Rome. And what can you expect? You know, I believe that this is the greatest country on earth and the most corrupt country on earth, all at the same time. But I think once our passion is directed, we're going to be able as a country to overcome the corruption and just be a country of love, solidarity, and accountability.